I forgot to push record. It's okay, I have a lot of practice now. We'll be good to go for next time. Today, we are going to be reviewing some high-stakes online hands played by just GTO, poker coaching student coach extraordinaire. He recently won the $5,000 buy-in World Series of Poker event online for $250,000 and his first World Series Poker bracelet. He's been grinding the high-stakes games online, and we have the pleasure of going through a few of the hands, seeing some of the work that he did using Pile Solver, and see if, well, just GTO plays just GTO. You all are here. Let me know in the comment section, in the chat box. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. I think you're all here. All right. So many of my students have been here grinding it out on pokercoaching.com. They're in the YouTube channel, and they ask consistently for more super high-level GTO reviews. So, that's what we're doing today. Please note, the kiddie game is down the street. So, if you're looking for basic poker strategy advice, please check out pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. Okay? We are not here today giving very basic advice. This is a high-level GTO review. In this webinar today, right now, you're going to learn strategies to use in 3-bet pots, both in and out of position. Also, blind versus blind strategies. How to approach river bet sizing. There's a really bizarre hand here that shows that off. And what to look for when you go for big bluffs. I'm not going to lie. I would have played, I think, 3 out of these 5 hands differently than just GTO did. And you know what? I would have played them worse than he did. I'm in here. I'm learning. I make a point to work with people who are better than me at poker, and just GTO is in there absolutely smashing it. He studies a ton, works hard, grinds at the highest stakes. He's final tabling U.S. Poker Open tournaments, winning World Series poker bracelets, and I'm happy that he allows us to go through that work with him. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. George in the chat says, big shout out to poker coaching. You shipped the win, $1,600 for $293,000. Nice job, George. Good work. All right, here we are, facing a raise from the hijack seat. He raises it up. We have 8-5 offsuit in the big blind. What do you all do in the chat? Type it in. Let us know. Could you imagine winning $293,000 off of a $1,600 buy-in? That's amazing. Great work. Great work. Ship the dough. All right. Easy call here. We are, it's not a great spot, but what are you going to do? 8-5 offsuit's definitely a call. We call. Flop comes. Ace, King, 3. We check. Opponent bets 131 chips. Small bet, as you will very frequently see. This is a very, very special board. You want to know why this is a very special board? It's because the opponent actually doesn't have very many flushes in their range. You may say, why not? Well, if you think about it, they don't have any of the ace-x of spades or any of the king-x of spades. Now, they're only looking at like queen 8 suited and better, jack 8 suited and better, 10-8 suited and better, 9-7 suited and better, and then there's like the good suited connected hands, just like 8 or 10 flushes. So the opponent actually has almost no flushes in this spot. Just kind of weird, right? So, what do we do with the 8-5? If you read my book, Excelling at Tough No Limit Hold'em Games. Here you go, I'll show it to you. Excelling at Tough No Limit Hold'em Games. There's a chapter. Who's it by? It's by one of these guys. Lots of good world-class players here. Many of them are poker coaching coaches. On exactly this spot. Discussing leading and check raising in scenarios like this. And this is a spot where I think you're supposed to put in the check raise. You may say, what? We have all the suited spades and the opponent doesn't, right? Weird, weird spot, right? We pop in the raise. What does GTO say about this? Flop strategy. Some raising, but notice we have lots and lots of spades here. We actually slow play some of them because the opponent's range is so garbage. Take a look at this, right? We have lots of spades down here that are all check raising. And then if you look at these random bluffs, remember the board is ace, king 3, okay? Board is ace king 3. We are check raising with a smattering of queen of spades, jack of spades, 9 of spades, 8 of spades, and then some like really garbage hands down here with a spade, right? So this is a spot where we do fold a decent chunk, even against a tiny bet, but we are check raising with a lot of just like random nonsense spades. And in this scenario, I think we're supposed to check raise the 8. I think this works out to like 20% of the time you have the random 8 of spades, or you're calling it, right? Like you're not folding. I think a lot of people in this spot play way too passively with a random spade. They're just like, oh, well, I could be in bad shape. And it's true, you could be in bad shape, but you got to stick around. You got to stick around. Okay? Just GTO decides to take the aggressive strategy. I will venture to say that in tournaments, if you're playing against players who are not regulars, or if you're playing against players who continuation bet too frequently, this is a good spot just to apply some aggression. All right, so I would have played it exactly like this so far. I've learned this much. This is where I would have messed up. This is where I would have messed up. Can the opponent have ace-10 with the 8-10 of spades? Of course they can. Of course they can. Opponent's not folding out an ace or any hand with a 10 of spades against a check raise. If the opponent had ace-king, would they be calling? They're probably ripping it in here if I had to guess, but I don't know. All right, what do we do here? We have a flush. Not going to lie, I would have checked. I would have checked and not folded. I would have check called. What does GTO strategy do here? Did I spoil it for everybody? GTO strategy in this spot bets with everything. Bizarre. Why is it betting with everything? Because, well, we have a lot of flushes. Notice here, we have lots and lots and lots of queen eye flushes, lots and lots of jack eye flushes. We just have a lot of flushes, right? Flushes are good. Flushes are good on the ace-king brick when the opponent really does not have a ton of those hands. They have some. But this is a spot where we are betting like literally everything. Bizarre scenario. We're betting for value slash, well, really just betting for value. Betting for stone value here. GTO strategy is to bet small with, well, you see here, 20% pot. 20% pot is the ideal size. Bizarre. 20% pot. Obviously, just GTO finds the correct bet. He messes up. He goes 25% pot. This is why just GTO is the best. He bets. Opponent calls. River's the 10 of diamonds. What do we do now? You all wanted high-level poker stuff today. I mean, we do our best to deliver. What more do you want from me, okay? I realize this is a bizarre hand. It's just GTO. It's just GTO. Just GTO goes for 25% pot bet on the river. Straight up for value. Straight up for value. The sky is the limit. Hello, welcome in the chat. Is this live? Yes, this is live. What do we do on the river here? River strategy here is to bet small with the 8-5 suited, 25% pot every time. 25% or 60%. Fun spot, right? I would have also just checked the river and check called. But clearly, that is not the GTO strategy. Kind of interesting to see a whole lot of bluffs in this scenario. Well, a whole lot of bets on this river, right? We're checking half the time, but usually with just like some really bad hands, like 2-pair. Interesting scenario. This hand will never happen for you. Why not? Why won't it happen for you? Notice here we're checking with lots and lots and lots of top pair, 1-pair hands, which, by the way, if we did check raise the ace on the flop, I just want to make this very clear. If we check raised an ace on the flop, like ace-9, no spade, we're still betting it on the turn small. If we did get there, we're checking it. Is that the real God's Big Toe in the chat? Pretty sure it is. God's Big Toe helps with poker coaching a ton. He's in the Discord a lot. He runs steady streams, thanks to God's Big Toe, and everyone who makes poker coaching a huge success. Anyway, just GTO plays this hand well. Just GTO. Opponent folds the river. This would have been way better if the opponent called with like ace-9 offsuit, but they did not. Do you call a river raise to a 25% bet? If the opponent shoves here, I'm sure we're supposed to fold. I gotta imagine we're supposed to fold. I got to imagine. Notice in this scenario, we have lots of nut hands, right? We have lots of queens, lots of jacks that can easily call, right? So, well, that's the first hand. Would you all play that one the same way? You can be honest. I won't hold it against you. I would not have. I would have check raise flop and then check turn and not folded. And I would have left some value on the table most likely. All right, hand number 2. Pocket tens. This one is against good pro, Matt Berkey. You may know Matt Berkey. He has a YouTube channel and a poker training site, Solve for Why. Very strong poker player. He gets in there, he battles, he mixes it up. He limps small blind, playing 27 big blinds deep with pocket tens. Easy raise here to 3 big blinds or so. Easy raise. Matt Berkey calls. Flop comes. Queen, 9-7. Matt Berkey checks. What do you do here? Everyone who's asking me to extrapolate what would happen if we were in different positions, if different action happened, if we went through all of that, we'd be here all day. There's another poker coaching webinar, by the way, starting in 45 minutes with Brad Wilson at pokercoaching.com. I'm going to give you all a little spoiler. I wasn't going to tell you this till the end. But you can all join it for free. $0. Check out pokercoaching.com/free pass. And for the next week or so, you can get complete access to pokercoaching.com, the premium version, everything we have to offer for free. You do have to enter your email address. I will charge you the cost of whatever it takes to give me your email address. So basically $0. We have a webinar starting in 45 minutes. Make sure you get registered. Head over to pokercoaching.com/free pass to get in there right now. All right, this is a spot where I think we need to bet. Pretty easy bet. We have the best hand by a mile. Yes, he could have lots of queens. Flop check or flop limp calling range will have a lot of queens, but it also has a lot of nines and a lot of jacks. Okay? So we need to get value in this scenario. We do go for a small continuation bet. Let's see what GTO recommends here. Very, very mixed betting strategy, but, mostly betting. Sky's the limit. Said you joined poker coaching this week and you're already getting a lot of value. Well, that's what we're going for. All right. Pocket tens just bets. You'll see a lot of good hands are going to be betting in this scenario. We're going to be betting pretty polarized, right? Matt Berkey calls. Turn is the 4. Matt Berkey checks. What do we do with this one now? What do you think? Type it in the chat. If you're enjoying this show, do me a favor, click the like and subscribe button below. Also click the notification bell if you've not already. I'd appreciate it. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing some fun stuff when we get to 100,000 subscribers. I know 3,000 people are going to watch this. You might as well click the button and just start getting lots and lots of free stuff when we get to 100,000 people. Raid alert, Poker Bras coming in with 103 people. Thank you, Poker Bras. Hope you're having a great day. Hope life's treating you well. The Danish sausage. All right. How do you find the webinar, Brad Wilson? Go to pokercoaching.com/free pass. It's completely free to go to Poker Coaching Premium for the next 3 days. Go there. It'll be in the top right-hand corner in the calendar webinar section. All right, this is another spot where we just got to bet. Matt Berkey's going to have all sorts of worse hands and draws. He's going to have a lot of nines, a lot of sevens, a lot of draws. And in this scenario, we want to keep value betting using a medium bet size. We don't want to go too small here because whatever Matt Berkey has good equity, right? So if it has good equity, we don't want to bet too small because then he's not really, we'll say, messing up by calling. That said, if he's sitting here with like a 9 or a 7, it's just an easy call, right? You may say, but what about when he has a queen? Sometimes he has a queen. Sure. But most of the time, he's going to have a 9 or a 7, right? Also, a lot of the time, a queen just check raises the flop, especially over a small flop bet. Out of position on the flop, hands like a queen should be doing a decent amount of check raising just straight up for value/protection. So when he calls, he's going to be heavily weighted towards a 9 or a 7. So we just need to go for another bet. Let's take a look at what GTO recommends here. On the turn, pocket tens, mostly going for a big bet. Okay? Funny enough, pocket queens and pocket nines and pocket sevens mostly checks the turn. I would probably not have done that, but it does. Notice Solver also does a lot of betting with just nonsense. Notice that when we raise preflop, we have a very polarized range. Lots of good hands and then lots of nonsense down here, right? So we are betting with just some stone garbage. Remember, the board here is queen 9-7-4, okay? Queen 9-7-4. Just want to show you how much nonsense we're betting. Queen 9-7-4. If we have 10-5 offsuit, we're blasting it. Jack 5 offsuit, we're blasting it. Jack 3 offsuit, we're blasting it. Basically, if we have no showdown value whatsoever, we're blasting it. And if we have the best hands, we're blasting it. Funny enough, GTO actually recommends a pot size bet here, not 60% like just GTO did. So maybe a bit of a quote-unquote error. These are the kind of errors the best players in the world are trying to improve on, because you want to see these spots and realize I need to bet big because all of my good hands beat a 9 for the most part, right? Let's go over here and look at the value betting range. Notice the value betting range here is basically like king 9 and better, right? So king 9 beats the vast majority of Matt Berkey's 9s here, and that is why you're betting big, right? If we had weaker 9s, which we don't really have many or any, let's see, can we find some? Like Jack 9 here. Wait, is Jack 9 2 pair? No, Jack 9 is not 2 pair. Notice Jack 9 does not bet, right? So we're value betting the best 9s and better made hands because those are hands that are almost certainly good, right? Okay, so we bet here, and Matt Berkey calls. River's a 4. Matt Berkey checks. What do we do with the pocket 10s? So I would have gotten the previous hand wrong on the turn in the river. I would have gotten this one right on the turn in the river. Look how smart we are. We would have got this one right. This is just a situation where you have to figure out what is the actual value of your hand, right? So what is the actual value of your hand? And in this scenario, pocket 10s is almost certainly the best hand. So you got to shove. It's like an easy value shove. I suppose there's some world where you don't go all in, but you just want to go all in this spot. And Matt Berkey's a player who's not going to be weak and tight and fold out a 7, right? Or a 9. He's just going to call a lot, as he should, because notice we could have a lot of draws. Lots and lots and lots of draws missed here, right? Just look, every single draw missed. When every single draw misses and you beat the vast majority of your opponent's flop check calling and turn check calling range, you just have to go for the shove. So I think this is a pretty easy shove. We do shove. What happened to my PowerPoint? Here it is. We do shove, as you see. Pocket 10s and better shoves, as do all queens, right? If we did have a 9 here, we would not shove. Notice king 9 does not shove anymore. Pocket 10s and better shoves. Easy, easy shove. And we get the call. And we win. Obviously, he could have some queens again, especially the weaker ones, but not this time. And we get a full double. And this is a spot that a lot of people don't go for because they do not realize that the 10s are very, 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 very good against the opponent's strategy, right? You have to make sure you're getting full value. You got to make sure you're getting full value with your hands that are likely best. And to be fair, Matt Berkey played this hand perfectly fine. I ran it through the solver as well. I don't have it loaded up here, but limp pre-flop, call the raise, check, call the flop, check, call the turn, check, call the river. Easy play. He played it great as well. Sometimes you just run into it and there's nothing you can do. To be fair, he got a little bit unlucky that just GTO did decide to go for the bet jam, right? A lot of people just check back the flop, or they check behind the turn, or they check behind the river, right? If we shove, don't we force Berkey to play perfectly? No! You think Berkey's only calling with a queen? He has almost no queens in his range. Brad, remember, he would check raise a lot of the queens on the flop. If your opponent's going to check raise, that's just good poker, is to check raise a lot of the queens on the flop. When they check call, they're going to have mostly 9s and 7s. So if Berkey folds out a 9 on the river, he's folding out basically the best hands he could have. If you fold out the best hands you can have, you're just going to get demolished by good players. Why is he calling off with a 9? Well, let's take a look over here. Remember, he's getting pot odds, right? He needs to be good. What's this? 20, 27, 28, 29% of the time, something like that. You all know me, I can't do math on the fly. Look at our range to jam river. We're jamming river 10s and better, right? So pocket 10s, pocket jacks, and all the queens. Look at what else we're jamming. Jack 6 offsuit, Jack 5 offsuit, 10-5 offsuit, 10-3 offsuit, 8-3 offsuit, 6-2 offsuit, right? We're jamming a large smattering of bluffs here, right? Enough to be perfectly balanced. And in this scenario, especially with 9-6, it's like a really easy call. Funny enough, if he had a hand like 10-9, I think it would be closer to a fold. Why is 10-9 closer to a fold? Then, because when he has 10-9, he blocks some logical bluffs, right? Like the 10x I just showed you, right? He does not want to block the logical bluffs. So whenever he has particularly a jack or a 10 or an 8, he should be more inclined to fold. But notice the 6 blocks none of our bluffs. 6 literally blocks nothing, right? Therefore, we're more likely to have a bluff card. So this is just an easy play by him. Why would Berkey cap his range by calling the flop? Sure, sometimes he has a queen. Again, I'm not saying he never has a queen, but if you think about it, the queen raises a lot. The 9s and 7s don't raise very often. That's just good poker, right? You need $1 million to shove all those hands, though. No, absolutely not. Well, to be fair, if you're playing $5,000 buy-in online tournament, sure. Against bad regs, we would not shove? No, we should. I would shove against bad regs. I mean, it depends on what they do wrong, right? If your opponent's mistake is they fold everything on the river, then sure, don't shove, because then they're not going to call off, right? So if your opponents are weak and scared, sure. But look, this is a $5,000 buy-in World Series of Poker tournament online, or one of those. He's playing all the big high-stakes games, right? And you got to realize we're playing against good players. These are good players. They're not going to screw up left and right. Whenever your opponents don't screw up left and right, you are required to not screw up left and right. And not getting full value with your hands is a big mistake. Remember, kiddie games down the street. If you're new to poker, or if you don't understand value betting, check out pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. People are too worried about their tournament life, says Andrea. That's absolutely correct. You got to realize sometimes you're going to lose, especially when everyone starts to get kind of shallow, as they do in these tournaments. All right, here we go. We raise it up 6-5 suited. We get 3-bet. We raise cutoff 50, 57 big blinds deep. Pretty reasonable call spot. 7-7-6. We check. Opponent bets. 2/3 pot. So I would call here. I think raising could be viable. This is another one of these spots where no one plays this spot GTO. And to be fair, I think calling may just be better than raising. I have to imagine raising is going to be the GTO line here with a lot of our likely good but vulnerable hands plus some nuts, like 7s, right? That said, just GTO calls. Let's see if you got it right. I would have called as well, but let's see. Ooh, look at this. 6-5 suited on the flop. Check raises. Either all in or small. One of the two. Either check jams it or small. Wow, fun spot, right? You may say you should check shove because he's starting to get shallow, but you're going to find min raise is actually kind of sweet even when you are shallow. Why is that, you may ask? Because we do have some just stone garbage that check raises small, like ace-9 suited here. You see randomly ace-9 suited check raises small. Take a look at a hand like pocket 3s, pocket 4s, pocket 5s, randomly check raises small, right? Fun stuff, fun stuff. And you're going to see a lot of this 6s do check raise small. Funny enough, 7s don't actually check raise, so that's pretty cool to see. This is a spot where we are just automatically stacking off with 9s and 8s, right? It's important to realize sometimes you just lose. Sometimes you just lose, and that is A-okay. Again, people drastically overvalue their tournament life. I would have check raised some 7s here if I had like some of the weaker ones, so maybe that's a bit of an error on me. Turns a queen. Check, check. River's a 4. What do we do now? So, interesting scenario where GTO is not going to have this hand because it check raised them all. What hands would GTO have that would maybe play like this? Check call flop. Let's just take a look and see if there's any hands that we can look at and extrapolate a little bit. Obviously, you got to be careful extrapolating. 5-4. Okay, 5-4 is a very logical hand. Do we have any other 6s? Notice all the 6s check raise, so can't really use those. What if we had like pocket 4s? Maybe that's a hand that would play similarly. Let's see what just GTO did here. He goes for a casual 1/10 pot blocker bet. All right. Casual 1/10 pot blocker bet. Let's see what GTO says with... Let's look at what GTO says with 5-4 and pocket 4s. I'm just curious. 5-4. Casual 10th pot blocker bet. Just GTO knows what's going on, huh? Even when he gets slightly off the solver, he still goes for it. Then pocket 4s goes either for a big bet, all in, or a small bet. So, you know, seems reasonable to me. Seems reasonable to me. Again, everyone's saying, this doesn't apply to my games. It's important to realize, you need to make sure you are learning how to play fundamentally sound so that you know how to adjust and where to adjust from. and where to adjust back to when you happen to run into people who actually play well. Also, if you want exploitative poker, check out all the other videos I have on my YouTube channel. I only have like 1,000 of them. And also, check out pokercoaching.com/free pass. We have tons of very, very concise classes on specific topics, including how to play against all sorts of different types of players. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, GTO goes for a tiny blocker bet here, okay? What happens if they raise? What happens if they raise, everyone? What would you do here? Type it in the comment section. If you're enjoying this, click like, click subscribe. I would appreciate it. Shout out to Poker Bros for sending us the raid. I appreciate that. Oh, God. Okay, what cards do we want to have here? What do we want to block here? We want to either block random... They can't have straights, right? I think we just don't want to have random high cards, right? We really don't want to have cards like a king, a jack, or a 10, or a 9, or an 8. We don't really want to have those cards because that's what we're trying to get bluffs from. We're trying to get bluffs from like jack 10 and 10, 8, although that may be Bet's turn. Jack 10, we don't want to block a jack or a 10. We probably don't want to block a 9 either for like ace 9, king 9. So look, you have to realize in this scenario, whenever you do make this small bet and your opponent jams, if you're playing against good players, you must call off appropriately, which implies calling with bluff catchers that don't block the obvious bluffs. And I think the bluffs here are going to be stuff like ace 8 suited, ace 9 suited, maybe ace 10 offsuit and suited, maybe offsuit and suited, maybe ace jack offsuit. Those don't necessarily need to bluff though. So I think we're going to be looking at a lot of like king highs, like king 9, king 10. Those would conceivably bluff. And jack 10 is like a pretty clear bluff. And jack 9 is a pretty clear bluff. So we don't really want to block those. So I think this is a reasonable call. That said, again, you want to talk exploitative poker. If your opponents don't bluff the river, then fold every time. Duh. Poker's not hard when your opponents screw up left and right. But again, we're playing high-stakes games against tough opponents. If your opponents bluff way too often, call every time. This is actually a sweet play in games like small stakes, $1,000 buy-in World Series of Poker tournaments where people are starting to get kind of good. They're kind of learning how to play poker well, and they really want to show how good they are. So what you do on the river, I'm gonna ruin my World Series of Poker this year by telling you how to beat me. I'm gonna make this exact play probably about 5 or 6 times during this World Series of Poker. And I can tell you, I can guarantee when I make this play at the World Series of Poker, it is super exploitative. I'm not folding ever. I'm literally calling every single time I make this small bet. Why? Because I know this kind of play induces bluffs. All right. People asking a bunch of random questions. This is not an Ask Me Anything. Find me on A Little Brain Fuel, bright and early in the morning, okay? Or send us an email, support@pokercoaching.com. Anyway, what does GTO do here? Let's just take a look. What do you all think GTO is going to do here? I think it's going to call. I think if it has a jack 10, 9, it's going to be more inclined to fold. With this type of card, you got to call. So 5-4 suited mixes it up. Pocket 4s calls every time, right? Makes sense, right? Notice ace jack folds. 10, 9, 10. So notice we were like pretty reasonably polarized betting anyway. Notice ace queen's a queen. Is a queen on this board? Yeah, so queen obviously calls. We don't actually have any good examples here of hands that would perhaps find a call. Notice if we had 8-6, we would call as well. Not that we have it. Jack 7 would call. That block. I mean, you got to realize you're also blocking, like whenever you have, well, jack 7's a 7. Whenever you have a pair, you're also blocking full houses, which are pretty obvious hands to put in a raise with. Anyway, what's just GTO do? He calls. Think he's out? He's going to be out a lot. That's okay, though. There's another tournament to play. Oh, the ace and the 10. That's good. Now I have 139 big blinds, and we get to continue playing. If they're bluffing the ace 10, what do they want to be bluffing with? What do they want to be bluffing with? They want to block the queens that would play this way. Would a queen ever play this way? This is a weird spot. So in this scenario, notice the small bet hands are just like pretty bad. Some queens though, I guess. I don't know. This is all convoluted. What's he repping when he checks the turn? You got to realize, EJ Horton, that the idea of what is he repping kind of goes out the window whenever playing GTO, because you're always representing a range. You're always representing a range of hands, right? So when he checks turn, the opponent's definitely going to check back with like some medium pairs and whatnot. You got to remember, our range contains all the sevens. You got to remember, our range contains all the sevens, right? So the opponent should check behind turn a ton, which is like everything. When we bet small in the river, we probably don't have a lot of sevens, right? Why don't we have a lot of sevens? Because we would have bet all of them big for the most part. We do bet tiny every once in a while with the ace-7, king-7, 10-7, every once in a while. You want to make sure your small betting range contains a little bit of nuts, a little bit of bluffs, and a lot of medium strength hands. We discussed this thoroughly in my tournament masterclass. If you want a full masterclass on that topic, check out pokercoaching.com/free pass. Go to the tournament masterclass, go all the way down to the river, and look up structuring various bet sizes. We discussed particularly how to structure this tiny bet size. And that's exactly what GTO does. Here it is, outlined very clearly for you. Anyway, we get them. All right, pocket threes, under the gun. You can fold if you want, but I usually raise. Just GTO raises, we get 3-bet, easy call. I don't know who this good pro is, I don't think. Do I have any notes down here that tell me who this good pro is? I have literally no notes here. Okay. Ah, here we have some notes. Oh, another good one. Abe Styles, John Van Fleet. He gets in there. He battles as well. He actually helped write this book, Excelling at Tough No Limit Hold'em Games. We collaborate with many of the other poker coaches, streamers, etc. John Van Fleet right here wrote a decent chunk of this book. And here we are battling it out against him. Let's take a look at what we do here. We raise it up, easy call. Don't fold to loose, aggressive John Van Fleet. Don't fold to him. Queen 2-2, we check. He bets tiny. Just GTO. I'm sure you're getting just GTO teed up on this one. All right, I already know what the GTO play is here. Do you all know what the GTO play is here? Darag gets it, nails it. Check raise. Pop a little check raise in there. You're like, really? Really? I think you either check raise or check call. I would have check raised or check called. I probably would have put in the raise exploitatively. Because I think John Van Fleet likes to be a little bit aggressive. If you've watched his stream, he gets in there and battles, right? Therefore, he's going to have more junk in general than most people. And also, I know that he likes going for small bets a lot. He wrote a chapter on continuation betting in this book, Excelling at Tough No Limit Hold'em Games with me. He goes through and outlines how to play good, strong, fundamentally sound continuation betting strategy. And then at the end, he's like, but against most people, you can just bet small because they fold too often. They'll want a small bet. They'll want a small 20% pop bet because they fold too often, right? This is a big raise, isn't it? It is a little bit big, but notice the opponent bets so tiny. Ape Styles bets so tiny here to the point that if you min raise, he's just getting amazing odds to call with everything. You don't want to price him into call with literally everything. Let's see what size we should use. 3.5x. I think that's the only size we gave it, to be fair. So maybe that's a bit of an oversight. Whatever. He calls. Turns a 5 of hearts. Mark says, is the cash game masterclass you all can get for free right now at pokercoaching.com/free pass. Good for 1 no limit. It absolutely is. How can you fold any pair? Yeah, I agree. Well, so I'll tell you why, Ryan, that GTO does recommend folding some portion of the time. It's because these hands are going to realize their equity very poorly. Because if Ape Styles just bets flop, bets turn, bets river, then what are you going to do? You're just going to call it out with bad pair? It's very, very difficult to do, right? So you're going to drastically under-realize your equity in these scenarios out of position. I agree, it looks tight. Also, to be fair, I would bet the solver is going to be slightly off on Ape Styles' range. Because notice, we opened under the gun playing, 7-handed? Ape Styles is probably 3-betting slightly wider than GTO recommends here, if I had to guess. Hope he doesn't mind me saying this. People know he battles. Go watch his stream, right? So if he's 3-betting a little bit wider in general, then you can't fold, right? Anyway, turn comes. Seems like a fine spot to go for small bets. We do have some flush draws here, I gotta presume, right? Notice we do have some flush draws here. That's what all these hands here are. These are flush draws. So we do have some flush draws. Obviously, Ape Styles has some flush draws too. So not an amazing spot. But, oh, wow. We bet everything on the turn. It's another spot where I don't think I would have bet necessarily everything. But I guess if we are check raising super polarized, notice we would check raise here with Ace Queen, which is really good, right? Ace Queen's basically the nuts. And then we would check raise with a lot of flush draws, which are now the nuts, plus a few bluffs. And this is a bluff here, by the way. We are bluffing. So, well, bluffing / value betting / protection betting. Who knows what's actually going on. Call it what you want to call it. But notice we have either like a queen or better, which is really good, bluffs, or flushes, right? What do we do if he shoves us? We fold. We have an easy fold here. This is not a good hand. He calls. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. River's a 3. Wow. Well, we're obviously betting. Checking would be terrible. I'm trying to think if we bet everything on the river. Sometimes you'll find spots where you should just like literally bet everything on the river. And the way you want to think about these spots is, what bluffs do I have? And are there very many? Notice our only bluffs here are 7s, 6-5, pocket 5s, pocket 4s, right? Everything else is the nuts / effective nuts. I think it's just an easy shove here with everything, right? Yeah, easy shove with everything. Because we have like no bluffs, right? Whenever you have basically no bluffs, you just have an easy shove. Funny enough, I never would have bet 25% pot here. I would have just shoved everything. GTO does this funny balance thing every once in a while where it does not shove. Could you imagine betting 1,500 out of your 3,600 pot in this scenario? No way. No way. Just GTO does go all in. Certainly don't fault him. We get called by pocket kings. He had us crushed. Played it perfectly. The opponent did. 2 good pros. Played their hands well. And this time we spike on him. I'm sure people in the comments section would say, this is how the good pros win all their tournaments. They run so hot, etc., etc., etc. But realize, just GTO played this hand perfectly. In a spot where a lot of you, maybe even myself included, would not have played this hand perfectly. Said he plays it perfectly, gets rewarded. Hate to break it to all of you naysayers out there, but if you play well all the time, you'll tend to win a bunch. And if you play poorly all the time, you'll tend to lose a bunch. A lot of people really love to think that they play well all the time, but then when you look at what they do compared to the solver, they just mess it up left and right. Like, to be fair, first hand of the day, I would have messed it up. Not gonna lie, I would have screwed up this hand on the turn in the river and left money on the table that just GTO did not. He played it better than me, right? Now, he's out there winning bracelets and $5,000 behind tournaments. All right, you don't get the flop raise. We are raising for value / protection on the flop because we have the best hand most of the time, and we don't care if the opponent folds out hands with decent equity. All right, ace queen offsuit. One more hand for you today. You know what I'm gonna do? Before I go through this last hand, I just want to make sure we give all of you Poker Coaching Premium for free. I know a lot of you pack it up and leave when we get towards the last hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few slides I have showing off Poker Coaching Premium, letting you know that I appreciate you being here. I actually do appreciate you being here. We work hard to make Poker Coaching Premium the site it is, so you can have it for free. I spent over $400,000, almost $500,000 on content. Gone. It's not actually gone because I gave it to other poker players and they hopefully ran it up a little bit. But we have loads and loads of content for you. And I continue spending mid-5 figures every single month on high quality content from people like Just GTO, who made most of this PowerPoint. Shout out to him. Also, we have Faraz, Jaka, Brad Wilson hosting a webinar starting in 20 minutes that you can get access to for free. Go to pokercoaching.com/free and sign up. Who else do we have? We have James Romero. Pre-COVID, he was one of the top 10 live poker players in the world, super crusher online. Bert Stevens, literally ranked #1 online tournament player in the world, multiple times over. We have Tommy Angelo, the mindset guru. He has a bunch of like live question and answer calls he does with poker coaching students. Ryan O'Donnell, the spin and go master, one of the biggest winners in spin and goes, not because he hits all the big spins, but because he just smashes the games in terms of EV, right? All sorts of world-class players. Michael Acevedo, he wrote the book, Modern Poker Theory. Matt Affleck, consistently studying with the poker coaching members. Anyway, lots and lots of great coaches. Check it out at pokercoaching.com/free pass. We have loads of quizzes. Thousands of them. To be fair, 1.4 thousand of them or so, something like that. Where we ask you what you would do in every single spot. Kind of like we did today, where I asked, what would you do in this scenario? Well, we have a lot of those scenarios where we ask what you do in the scenario and then give you real-time, immediate feedback right afterwards. As you can see, lots and lots of quizzes. We give you scores on every betting round so that you know where you're playing well and where you're not. We also have over 400 webinars and classes, kind of like this, where we go through and discuss a particular subject or a particular topic, or we go through a few hand histories from major events we played recently, right? Make sure you check those out. There's a search feature here. Search whatever you want. ICM preflop ranges, math, 20 big blind strategy, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Monotone boards, like whatever you want to learn about, it's all there. Also, I have my tournament masterclass. It is over 30 hours long, where I teach you everything you need to know to crush poker tournaments. I also go through a bunch of my deep runs that happened from the time since COVID happened. I was stuck at home, played some online poker, and it went quite well. So we have a bunch of deep runs there as well. Also, my 29-part cash game masterclass is there. This is not just a tournament site. We also have loads and loads of content to help you crush the cash games. Also, something you can do right now. If they're going to lock us down due to the Delta variant, here's what you need to do. Get in the 30-day tournament preparation challenge, where every single day for 30 days, I'll email you something to study, something to work on so that you can be actively learning and improving your skills. A lot of people sign up to poker training sites and they use them for a few days and then they get bored or they try to binge them. But I'll tell you, the real way to learn something is to get in there and learn a little bit every day. Just learn a little bit every day. And we structure this so that the content builds on top of each other. There's so much content, you don't know what to do. Yeah, well, there's a lot of content because I want to make sure you have literally every single question you have answered. Speaking of those 400 classes we talked about earlier, a lot of them were made because students emailed me a question and I realized I didn't have a video about it yet. So I answered the question in a video in a class on that particular topic. So we try to answer every question you have. And if something is not answered in the classes, send me an email, let me know, and I'll answer it. I'll make a video. If you don't play tournaments, what good's a 30-day tournament preparation challenge if you don't play tournaments? Well, we have a 30-day cash game challenge too. We have something for everyone so you can get in there and improve your skills. It's very, very important to play fundamentally sound poker and also know how to exploit your opponent's mistakes. And that is what we will definitely teach you in this cash game masterclass, where it's designed to help you beat the small and medium stakes games, right? Here's some high scores. Some of our members are crushing it. Chris O'Neill recently won a scoop bracelet, $18,000. Good job, good work. Kevin Theodore, oh my goodness. He's been smashing it. Kevin Theodore has won a bunch of tournaments recently. He won $17,000 in a tournament at the Win, won another tournament. We had George here in the chat, won $293,000 recently. George, send us a picture. We need to see your winner's photo here. That would be amazing. I would love to add that to the next webinar. So good job, good work. Just GTO, who provided these hand histories today, won the $5,000 buy-in World Series Online event for $250K just the other day. Anyway, it's your turn. Get in there and do it. You have to realize, while we do have a lot of high-level training content at pokercoaching.com, I realize most people are not super world-class players playing against the best players in the world, even though that's what we're kind of showing off today. And we've taken a lot of students from knowing, the rules of poker, but not being actually all that good, to beating the games, to winning decent money at the games. And, well, now it's your turn. And it costs you $0. Check it out at pokercoaching.com/free pass. Get in there, grind it up. All right, let's take a look at this final hand. Ace Queen offsuit, facing a raise, 200 big blinds deep. Ooh, super deep stack scenario. Aiden, greetings from China. Hello, hello. Happy that you're here with us today. We 3-bet the Ace Queen. This is just good standard poker, right? Do I even have a slide for this? I don't even think I have a slide for this. Let's see. We do not, but you do see Ace Queen is very clearly 3-bet pre-flop because it's a large, high-frequency hand. Notice we're 3-betting a lot of our hands in this scenario. Our best hands all the way down. Smash that like button. Yeah, if you like this show, click the like button. I would appreciate it. All right, we get called. Flop comes Queen 8-3. We're going to be betting here frequently, right? Seems like a spot to bet frequently using a small to medium size. Sure, fine, good. frequently using small to medium size. We actually check none here. I'm trying to think if I would check none here. You have to realize whenever you're looking at poker strategy, right? And we have a lot of videos like this on poker coaching. You want to make sure that you are saying, like, what would I actually do here? I'm trying to think, if you gave me pocket jacks here, would I actually bet it on queen 8-3? I don't know. I maybe would have checked it. I maybe would have screwed this up. If you gave me a hand like queen 10 suited, maybe I check that back too. If you give me a hand like pocket 9s, maybe I check that back. Yeah, weird spot. Weird spot. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Whatever. We bet small, he calls. One thing you will notice is that as you bet bigger and bigger, you have to check more and more. A nice thing about small bets is if you just bet small and frequently, like Abe Styles said in this book, who we just punished in the earlier hand by hitting the 3. Bet small and frequently, it's pretty good. You get to, like, it just can't be that bad, right? It can very rarely be that bad, especially when you're the aggressor. You have the range advantage, you have the nut advantage. Bet small and frequently. Turn is that beautiful king of diamonds giving us the flush draw. Is this a good card or a bad card? I think it's actually a bad card. It's fine. I mean, we're still in great shape, right? We want to bet to get value from the weaker pairs, weaker queens. Opponent could certainly have a hand like king with the jack. King of diamonds with the jack, right? Maybe. Maybe they don't call that pre-flop. It's tough to know. They could definitely have a hand like king jack of spades, for sure. So we have to be a little bit careful against that. But I like a bet here. We do go for a small bet again. Johnny Lynn recently took 22nd out of $22,000. Out of 22,000 players. Well, good. Good job, good work. All right, what do we do here? Ace-queen continues betting, using mostly a small size. Interesting spot where we do use a small size a lot. One thing you will also note is that whenever you have a lot of the nut flush draws in your range, like in this scenario, and therefore we have a lot of nut flushes in our range on the turn, you often go for a small bet. A lot of people think the goal is to just like get all the money in, right? But it's kind of hard to, because usually if you have the ace X of diamonds here, the opponent's gonna have a whole lot of hands like a queen jack of hearts that's just not happy, right? And it's also drawing thin to dead. Obviously it's dead here. So when your range is just like really strong because you have a lot of nut flushes and you just don't have a ton of bluffs, you usually just bet again using a small size. It's kind of annoying to not go for like a giant chunky full value bet here. But notice GTO here is just to go small and frequently, including all of these nut flushes. Obviously, there's a bunch of bluffs here as well, of course. Queens continue, well, no, not queen. Yeah, queens continue going for value, right? We see like queen 10, queen 10, queen jack, ace queen, obviously king queen. Some people in this scenario think if I have a set or two pairs, shouldn't I be betting bigger to try to charge the draws? The answer is just no, you don't need to. We do go small. And ooh, nasty one, nasty one. Now the opponent puts in the big chunky raise. Ooh, do you hear those kids yelling outside? That's how it goes. It's a family show, folks, as Andrea says. This is a spot where, we can't fold. Folding's impossible in this scenario. So do we call or do we re-raise? Seems like an easy call. Even though we block the nut flush, we definitely could be against a lot of low flushes here. And I would expect to be against a lot of low flushes here. Like, I would not be the least bit surprised in this scenario if the opponent shows up with, like, 7-6 of diamonds, something like that. Did my chat box stop working? I think my chat box stopped working. That's not good. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, it's time to jam, says Derek. I don't think it's time to jam. I think if you jam here, you're just going to get called a lot. This is definitely a play that opponents make with, like, really good made hands. So I think it's just an easy call. Seems like an easy call to me. It's annoying that the opponent raised so big. But I do not think this is a spot you want to be jamming. Let's see what GTO does. Let's see what GTO does. And then we'll see what just GTO does. Look at that. Look at that. For all of you who said all in, you get a big fat 0. Ank. It's either a call or a fold. And as you see, ace-queen does not fold. Ace-queen calls every time. It's just too good. It's annoying, but it's just too good. Big fat 0 if you decided to rip it in. So, wait a minute. King Jack folds. King Jack suited folds here sometimes. If you have King Jack suited here, you're supposed to fold. So I got to presume that we're continuing with all these hands with a diamond. All the hands we're continuing with just must have a diamond, right? Notice King 10 folds if you have it. King 9. Weird King 9. King 9 calls for some reason. Blockers are funny, right? Blockers are funny. So, yeah, notice we're basically calling with all these hands with a diamond. I got to presume this. I mean, look, it's like half the hands, right? Half the hands, therefore we do have the diamond a lot of the time. I guess, what do we want to block here? Weird spot, right? Notice all these hands are just like flushes that are sticking around. Pairs, well, so these are sets. So pairs with a diamond call, right? Notice whenever you see like half the pairs folding, it just always means they are calling with the diamonds, folding without a diamond. So you can stick around with a diamond. Apparently diamond's pretty good. Sorry all of you got a 0 on this spot. One thing you're going to find, I'll just give you all a little tip. Whenever you get check raised and you're still really deep stacked and you're in position, you just do a lot of calling or folding. You don't want to do much re-raising in this spot because if you think about the opponent's range, it should be super polarized to either like really good made hand, which is not folding, no one's folding a flush, or some like really bad hand that's just like some junker going for a bluff. Sometimes with equity, but whatever. So in this spot, if the opponent does have a hand like ace with the jack of diamonds, we don't care, right? Or jack of diamonds with a 10 or whatever they're doing. And if they have a flush, we don't want to raise because they're just always calling, right? So this is a spot where you're not going to want to jam basically ever. That's why we're not jamming. I get the idea that some people see like pair and flush draw, rip it in, but that's just not the case. So we call. Easy call. River's the 8. Ooh, spicy one, spicy one. Why is it a spicy one? Because now we should have a bunch of full houses in our range, right? Well, at least some full houses. Let's take a look. Would we call with the kings and the queens and the 8s? We don't have any 3s. Sure, right? Opponent bets half pot. Do we call without the ace of diamonds on the turn? Looks like we do, but looks like we're doing a lot of checking with that hand to begin with on the flop. So we're doing a lot of checking in that scenario, I have to presume. And if we did have it, it does look like we still call, but there is some tiny portion of folds there. All right, what do we do here? Ace of diamonds with the queen. This is a spot where I'm pretty sure I know what to do, but I'm not sure if I would do it. Oh, God. Oh, God. I know what to do, but do I do it? Do we jam? I think that's the play, right? We block full houses. We block the flush. We could definitely have full houses. We could definitely have nut flushes. And I gotta presume the opponent does not have a whole lot of flushes, a whole lot of full houses here, right? Oh, gosh. Feels so gross to shove. Because they're just going to show up with the 9-8 of or 10-9 of diamonds and get us. I think we're going to be against a lot of low flushes in this scenario. Let me see. Just GTO, give me any notes. He gave me notes. I didn't read them. Probably should have read them. Let's see. In position range has tons of nut flushes normally and tons of flushes normally. Yeah, completely agree, right? Because if you think about our range, in this scenario, on the turn, we call with all the flushes. We call with kings and queens, right? Whole load of them, right? Sure. We get to really put position on low jacks holding. Pretty much anytime we have the ace of diamonds on the river, we go all in. Let's see what solver does. Ace of diamonds, 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 ace of diamonds. Can we have ace king with the ace of diamonds? Guess we could. Don't bluff all in with the ace king. Apparently we just call that. But look at this GTO strategy here. Ace queen either rips it in or folds. And when you have the ace of diamonds, you rip it in. You rip it in. 10s and 9s. 10s and 9s bluffs all in sometimes too. Do you find bluffs all in with that? You may ask, why in the world are we supposed to bluff so often with random hands like the 10-9? Or the queen jack. Oh, that's queen jack of diamonds. Never mind. Queen jack of diamonds can rip it all in. This is 6-5. Is 6-5 a flush? What in the world is 6-5 doing down there? Weird bluff with 6-5. Not sure what 6-5 is doing. Any option is correct, says Derek, LOL. Yeah, any option is correct in theory. In theory. I like shoving here with the queen, especially because we block their full houses that they could have, right? Like, they could have them. And also, if you think about it, they don't have a ton of queen 8 and king 8 because it was a 3-bet pot, right? I think this is just a shove. I mean, this is one of these scenarios I can guarantee you. If I was sitting in the game, I would have thought, would have thought explicative words in my head, where I know I'm supposed to shove. Would I go for the shove? I don't know if I do. Maybe I'm a chicken and fold. I do think it's probably I think it's either mostly a call or fold in general against most people. What do you think just GTO does? Does just GTO knit it up and find the fold? Are we going to ruin this video with a nitty fold at the end? No, we're not ruining this with a nitty fold at the end. He goes for the all-in. And we get the tank. Run out our whole time bank. Tank. What am I supposed to do with my 10-9 of diamonds? Fold. Fun hand, huh? That's just GTO. He just won a bracelet. Doing stuff like this. Getting in there. Playing lights out poker. That's going to be it for today. Actually, that's it for me for today. We have another webinar starting in literally 3 minutes with Brad Wilson. You can get in it for free. Costs you $0. I don't know what he's going to be talking about today. Probably something pertaining to cash games. Just GTO is incredible. Wow. He is incredible. Absolutely crushing it. He final tabled a US Poker Open tournament. He took like 12th place in like the win, I don't know, one of those win 5Ks or 3,500 or something. He's smashing it recently. Then he won a bracelet. Why not? He puts in the work all the time, grinds hard, helps me out at poker coaching, and he's doing amazing. Anyway, check out pokercoaching.com/free pass. It costs you $0 to get in Brad Wilson's webinar today. I know we have additional webinars tomorrow, the next day. We have loads and loads of content featuring all of these coaches lined up for you on a very regular basis. So head over to pokercoaching.com/free pass. Sign up. We don't take any credit card information. None of that. We're not going to bill you. It's literally free. And get in the next webinar. It's happening right now. Thank you for being here. If you like free stuff, click like, click subscribe. A few more thousand subscribers on YouTube. We'll be giving away a bunch more free stuff. Because why not? Like Santa Claus over here, just giving it away. Have a great day. Good luck. Thank you all for being here. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell your friends. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Go to pokercoaching.com/free pass and sign up and get in the next webinar.